Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. First of all, really surprisingly, Arsenal played a behind closed doors friendly yesterday. Not something you usually see when the season has already started. But they played a behind closed doors friendly yesterday against Luton Town and beat them 3-0. Trossard with 2 goals and Saka with a goal in the game. Reece Nelson played as well, Zinchenko played, and also David Raya. So really interesting. That shows you maybe that the manager's still feeling that the team's not fully up to speed, maybe after the win last week. But really interesting that, you know, especially in this day and age where managers always complain about too many games being played, that they played a behind closed doors friendly before the game on Monday. It's good, keeping them sharp. Love that from Mikel Arteta, always innovative. And Mikel Arteta was being questioned in his press conference yesterday about, obviously, are they going to make any replacements for Jurrien Timber now that it looks like he's set to be out for the majority of the season. Obviously, he didn't give anything completely away, but he did sort of suggest that, you know, they are prepared to go back into the market to try and get a replacement for Timber. But then he also said that, listen, we've got players within that could probably cover as well. He was asked about Kieran Tierney, you know, and he, you know, sort of said that, you know, Kieran Tierney is still part of his plans at Arsenal. You know, he's being questioned on why he didn't start last week. And he said, well, he started, you know, the game before. Well, he said he played in the game before in the Community Shield. So listen, you know what he's like in his press conferences. He doesn't give anything away. But as I said, making a suggestion there that they still may try and replace Jurrien Timber, who's going to be out. It could be possibly out for the whole season. Look at Beth Mead, Leah Williamson, the women, Miedemar. The whole season they were gone with that ACL. So it could be that for Jurrien Timber, and they know they're going to have to cover him. Now, Ivan Fresneda is back again on Arsenal's radar. Remember, in January, we came very close to signing him, didn't get the deal done. This transfer window, Arsenal said to have been interested in him as well, but again, there's been no movements on it. Real Madrid were very close to signing him, but that didn't go through. He's still available, still a very young player, but really highly thought about. A right back, plays for Real Valladolid, and Arsenal, according to Defensa Central, which is a publication over there in Spain, are preparing to make a 15 million euro bid for Fresneda. I think that's his release clause. So they're prepared to meet that release clause so that they can bring him in. That's according to Defensa Central. We have seen these reports before in January that Arsenal are on the verge of doing this. So again, I think with caution, we're going to have to wait and see how that one develops. He's definitely an option. He's a young player, only 18, could develop, could be that guy that could develop into that position. But is he the player to replace Timber, who's very young himself, but a lot more experience, you know, Dutch international who was playing in that position and also very versatile? Or will they turn to Benjamin Pavard of Bayern Munich? Now, this is a really interesting one. Benjamin Pavard, of course, vastly experienced player, World Cup winner, league winner, you know, Champions League experience, a vastly experienced player, still only 27 as well. Now, Fabrizio Romano yesterday hinting that Arsenal could be about to join the race to sign Pavard. In fact, it's everywhere today. And use him as a player that could replace Jurrien Timber. Now, Pavard, essentially a right back, but he can also play as a centre back. But he is a very good player, very skillful player, and also vastly experienced, as I said. He's been heavily linked this summer with Manchester United, but because of the whole debacle they've got over Harry Maguire and not being able to sell him, there's a lot of talk that, you know, he may not go to United now because, you know, they need to sell first before they can even think about bringing somebody like Pavard in, and Maguire He's sort of clogging up things by sort of refusing to leave. Inter Milan, again, was said to be the club that have been most closest to signing him, and that they've been preparing proposals that they're going to bring towards Bayern Munich. But Bayern Munich want around about 34 million pounds plus add-ons to sign Pavard, so he won't be cheap. But Pavard himself is said to be interested in a move, wants a new challenge. Bayern Munich are willing to sell him this summer. They were apparently reluctant at the start of the summer, but now they would be willing to sell him. For me, if Arsenal could bring in a player like Pavard would be perfect replacement, I feel, in that position, and a very strong replacement for a Jurrien Timber. And then, you know, as I said, he plays essentially as a right back. But you know, you've got him there. He can play on the right. You could put Ben White back into centre back if possible. Pavard is versatile enough to probably come over to the left-hand side as well. So let's keep an eye on that one. A bit like what Fabrizio Romano said. You know, keep an eye on this situation. Arsenal may be in for Benjamin Pavard before the end of his transfer window. Balogun, who was reading this one on following Balogun yesterday, his saga continues. The whole summer, he's been linked with a move away. I told you yesterday that Fulham are interested in him. Stories sort of emerging yesterday that Tottenham Hotspur made an inquiry about Balogun, but they retreated from the inquiry when they found out that Arsenal were charging them way more than what they were charging anybody else. And we know that they won around about 50 million for Balogun. But when it came to Tottenham, they added Tottenham tax on top of it. And they wanted way, way, way more money on top. And Tottenham sort of said no. I don't think Arsenal and Tottenham have done a signing, an actual signing, right? I mean, I know the Sol Campbell one, but Sol Campbell was kind of available on a free, and that's how we were able to get him. And he joined us after sort of suggesting he was going to sign a new deal at Tottenham. But I don't think we've done an actual proper transfer with Tottenham since the 70s. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So, yeah, Arsenal basically saying, you want Balogun, you pay Tottenham tax on top, to which they said a no. Ansu Fati, now reports out of Spain that Arsenal have contacted the super agent, Jorge Mendes, over the possibility of signing Ansu Fati. Spoken about this one over the past couple of days, that he wants to leave Barcelona now, and Barcelona would be willing to sell him. Arsenal looking at a deal, possibly of an initial loan deal, with then an option to buy after that. Now, whether Barcelona will go for that or not, that's another matter. There are other clubs interested, including Tottenham, in Fati. Really, really talented player from Barcelona, was seen at one time as the next big thing. It hasn't quite happened for him. He's had a lot of injuries. Still 20, though. Could he be one of those sort of special talented players that Mikel Arteta looks at and says, you know what, let's bring him in? But let's keep an eye on that one. That's going to be interesting to see where he ends up before the end of the transfer window. But Arsenal looking at a possible loan deal with an option to buy. Whether Barcelona will go for that, I'm sure they're going to probably want as much money as they can get for him. A player that's not looking like it's going to happen is Mohammed Kudus. That's starting to get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer that Arsenal get this deal done. It's West Ham now who are right at the front of this one. Remember, Brighton at one time looked like, you know, they got their man. They'd agreed a £34 million deal with Ajax. However, the player himself didn't really want to go to Brighton, but West Ham are closing in on him now. They've said to have offered 40 million. So that's £6 million more to get Kudus, and they're over there negotiating with Ajax. So that's a possibility that he could go to West Ham. If Arsenal do hold it interest in him, they would need to move fast, but there doesn't seem to be any movement at the moment. West Ham, of course, on the verge of selling Lucas Paqueta to Manchester City, and they see Mohammed Kudus as a perfect replacement. Nuno Tavares looks like he's on his way as well. Nottingham Forest, the team that are really, really interested in signing him. Of course, they lost Renan Lodi, who was on loan to them last season. He's joined Marseille, ironically, that because, you know, Nuno Tavares was on loan at Marseille last year. But they've been looking for a replacement for Lodi, and they want to bring in Tavares, who was at Marseille, as I said. According to the Mirror, they're saying that Nottingham Forest willing to pay £30 million for him. Now, that would be a surprise to me. I didn't know he was valued that high. I remember Arsenal only paid £7 million for him. If they could get 30 million for him, I mean, wow, that would be an amazing piece of business. Not sure if they're going to pay that much, but it does look like Nuno Tavares could be heading to Nottingham Forest, and that'd be a really good move for him as well, staying in the Premier League. And Alex RUNARSSON, remember him? Goalkeeper that Arsenal bought in. He's only had about 6 appearances for Arsenal, and none of them have, let's be real, not meaning to diss him or anything, but none of them have been very impressive. He's been on a couple of loans since he's been at Arsenal. He was loaned over into a team in Belgium. Last season, he was over in Turkey on loan. None of those have really worked out. Now he looks like he's going to be joining Cardiff City on loan in the Championship until the end of the season. His contract is up in 2024, but Arsenal do have an option to extend that contract by 1 year. Doesn't look like they'll take that option up unless maybe, you never know, he goes to Cardiff and does really, really well. Maybe Arsenal extend the contract an extra year and get a little bit of money back for him. Only valued at about £1.5 million at the moment. But Alex RUNARSSON, I think that'd be a good move for him, going to a Championship team. So let's see what happens with that one. But RUNARSSON looking like he's going on loan to Cardiff City. Those are the rumours for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out all of our content around the Crystal Palace game. Also, the brand new kit review of the Arsenal third kit as well, which I'm doing. So make sure you check that out. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow.